What is up, guys? I'm George Mossey. So last night, 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After Season 7, Episode 9 has aired. Now, we checked in again with Ed and Liz, and we got another daily dose of dysfunction. So we're watching them during the aftermath of their fight, which actually started at the engagement party, which happened to be off camera. So all of the moments that we did catch on the episode, nothing happened. The moment the camera stopped rolling, Liz got into an altercation with one of her friends who happens to be a lesbian. And Ed feels that this must mean that Liz is in a relationship with this woman because during a heated argument, Liz said that she would rather be with a woman than to be with Ed, which makes sense because when you're arguing, you're normally going to say the words or do things that are going to hurt the other person. So we learned a little more about that as well in this episode. So we learned that Ed and Liz are both heavy drinkers. And when they are drunk, they tend to say pretty awful things to each other. For example, Liz likes to talk about the smallness of Ed's manhood when they're upset and drunk. Ed likes to talk about how he would rather sleep with her friend Alex than her. So they are both going for the jugular here, and they're both upset because they feel that these words hurt. So my question is, if they're both drunk, I wonder if they're actually thinking about the severity of the statements, because when they wake up the next day, they might not actually remember saying those things. But in this argument that we watched last night on the episode, they both remembered saying some of these things, and they're very hurtful. So one thing that stood out to me was Liz said that yes, she does admit that she makes fun of Ed's manhood and the size of it, but she also feels that it's not as severe as when Ed says things like he would rather sleep with her friend Alex than her. So I feel like this is kind of a gaslighting situation. One thing does not outweigh the other. When you're saying hurtful and nasty things to each other, both of those statements are wrong. And that is not the type of thing that people who are interested in being married and engaged should be engaging in. You should not spend so much time trying to hurt the person that you're supposed to love. So at this point, it appears that Ed and Liz might not be getting married, but I feel like at the same time, they're so afraid of being alone that the level of mistreatment they're willing to accept is so high because they just both want to be in a relationship so bad that it doesn't really matter who they're in a relationship with or how they're being treated. They just want to be with someone so bad that they are willing to accept any type of treatment whatsoever. So all of us at home are completely confused and really just bothered by the idea of Ed and Liz being together, being engaged, being married, starting a relationship together, and even being around each other. The level of toxicity is so high in this relationship. It's almost appalling that they're able to even be in each other's presence, because every time we see them together, there's an argument, there's a fight. We've seen maybe one or two moments where Ed and Liz were getting along to the point where they were smiling, happy, or laughing. So if they're going to get married, it's just a bad situation. I feel like this marriage is destined to end in divorce. Both of them know that this relationship will end in divorce, but yet they're still pedal to the metal, moving forward and trying to go on with those plans. In this episode, Ed does admit Liz is not ready to get married to him, but I have to step in and make an executive decision and say vice versa. Neither of them are ready to be married to anyone. It's not an Ed or Liz situation. It's a any living person situation. So will they get married? We're going to have to keep watching to see. And if they do, how long do you guys think until the divorce is finalized? All right, guys, I'm George Mossey. Make sure you follow me at George Mossey on all social media platforms and at georgemossey.com for all your 90 Day Fiancé news and updates. I'll talk to all of you really soon.